I really don't understand.
I don't know, man. Hope it's sponsored by them. They didn't do too good of a job. Benadryl,
send the check because these allergies are fucking crazy out in the streets of New York.
Send the actual Benadryl.
Yeah, send a lifetime supply of Benadryl because we definitely need it. And
for this week.
No, you need it for life. I need it for this week.
Oh, no, I mean enough just to get rid of it this week.
Oh, yeah.
And then send some for next week.
5 cases.
Easy. We're not making meth, I swear.
Welcome back, guys, to another episode of The Voice and Rizzles. You want to do it like that? Hold on. Let's do that. I like that better. I like
Voice
that.
and Rizzles?
Yeah, I like that.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah,
and we're going to keep this in because we want to... This is real shit. All right, ready?
This is the second episode, and this is our thought process. We're still figuring it out with you guys.
We're still spitballing some ideas. So
that's it.
Welcome back, guys, to another episode of
The Voice
and Rizzles. How's everybody doing today, John? How you feeling?
I'm hanging in there, man. The allergies are killing me, but I'm trying to breathe, trying to live, and we're going to take it out of the park today.
Dude,
what about you?
It is rough sauce out here. I do not get allergies. I don't get sick. And I just felt it all night. I was coughing, and it just got worse and worse, and the nose was dripping, and I just knew that it was going to be a severe struggle out here in these streets.
Yeah, it's not a good one today.
No, God, no. But we got some stuff to talk about. So today's episode is going to be based on business moves, entrepreneurship, because both John and I have our own experiences in different sectors of entrepreneurship and different businesses. And we just want to shed light on what our process and maybe what we dealt with starting our own businesses. I know John has had a few, which I'm fascinated by and I want to know more about.
Yeah, but a couple things going on. But we're also going to talk about the things we do to get our mind off the businesses and just our training in general, because obviously work is work. As entrepreneurs, we do what we love every single day, but it still works sometimes. You know what I mean? Like I know when you're trying to book shoots and stuff, you love doing the shoot, the edit work. I'm sure you love the thought process, the creativity of it. But sometimes watching something export or just trying to get some sleep,
oh God,
that's work for you, man. Right?
I think the worst part about my career path is that for the time being, I don't have an office.
Yeah.
So everything's in my room, and I've told you this, and I tell everybody else this. It sucks working all night, going to bed, in the bed right next to my desk, waking up at 7, 8 in the morning, rolling out of bed, and just going right back to the computer I sat at all night. And I've talked to a lot of people about having home offices, and the general consensus is it's great because you're at home, and you think it's a fantastic move, but at the same time, sometimes you can definitely lack motivation to get the work done. I mean, my Xbox is right there. I'm comfy.
Exactly.
I'm comfy in bed. I'm like, the boss isn't going to mind if I sleep for another hour. So I just, it's a fine line in my home office situation that I guess I need to either just kind of nut up and shut up and just keep doing it, or at some point, which is what I would like to do, I'd like to get an office space so we have a dedicated space for the podcast, for my office, and I can just leave, get the work done, and when I go home, it's home time and I get to relax.
Absolutely. You know what, for me, I have a home office as well. You know, I have my gym out east, but I'm not doing my computer work there or anything like that. But I don't have a TV or my work computer right next to my bedroom. For me, it's in the living room. So as much as the living room, it really is, it's really more of an office space that happens to have a TV and a couch.
Okay.
But at least I'm not right next to the computer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're not sleeping at 2 a.m., you're going to want to roll over and get some work done. For me, I can at least not look at it. I won't make eye contact with the computer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I can just try to go back to bed.
It's rough, man. It's an interesting balance between being able to relax and then owning your own business, because at the same time, you're always expected, if you're not doing something for your business, you almost feel like you're not doing enough, and you're being out hustled by everybody else doing as much as possible. I mean, you listen to guys like Gary Vaynerchuk, and you listen to guys like Joe Rogan, who I listen to a ton of his stuff, and all the influencers talking about, go and get it. You work every goddamn second of the day, network on Instagram, do this. And you feel like you're not doing enough, and you feel like it's not enough even if you're giving 150%.
Right.
So there's a fine line. There's that line of being able to take control of your business, grow it, continue to hustle, continue to work, and then of course have your personal time. All my shit's in my room. I still live at home with mom, so it's like I just have all of my stuff, my sound system, my Xbox, everything is in my bedroom, including my desk with my 2 monitors and my office.
It's the perfect studio apartment for you.
Oh, it's amazing. It's great. But it sucks because there's no balance in that room. It's work and my life, my relaxation part of life.
But you know what we were talking about a second ago with these other motivators that are saying you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. Those are our versions of a girl looking at, say, a Photoshop bikini model and saying, you know what, I don't look good enough, I'm not good enough. But it's the same thing. We're looking at the content they're putting out, but we don't know exactly what they're doing. You know, every Gary video that we see, how many shots did it really take to get that out there? You know, maybe he recorded 6 or 7 cuts of it and said, you know what, I like this one better. 6
or 7 cuts, and he has a whole team behind him that edits all of his stuff.
Exactly. So. But regardless of that, you know, he's out there hustling. There's no question about it. But everybody's got to stop. They got to cook. They got to go to the bathroom. You know, and people are taking their time throughout the day. They don't wake up, turn on like a computer, and just suddenly go right to work. They got to make breakfast. They got to eat. They got to let the dog out. You know, they have the same things that you and I have, the same little issues, except the only difference is they're at that level now where they have some other people that might be able to handle little things for them. Maybe pre-prep meals or somebody's cleaning the house for them, whatever it happens to be. But they start at the exact same spot we're in, except the only advantage we have over them in the beginning is we have all the technology.
Yeah.
You know, when they built, if you wanted to do exactly what we're doing right now, a podcast, we would have needed to rent out a studio, buy equipment that would have costed 10 times more, go to somewhere to buy it where we wouldn't have been able to look for exactly what we wanted on Google.
Yeah, man.
And so many other struggles that would have been just in the way, you know?
No, I feel you, man. I feel you. So on the topic of what we're trying to go over today, so obviously you had a lot of experience being an entrepreneur at a young age too, way younger than I was. I've always had that 9 to 5 up until 2 years ago. So for 10 years, I was a salesman, whether it be in stores, in retail, or B2B sales. So why don't you talk about kind of what you started off doing and how that grew into what you're doing today?
You know, it was funny. I took the gun and I just tried to fire bullets all over the place. Figure something would hit eventually. It was all in my field of practice. And I found that if I ever aimed for something that wasn't in my field, it got burned and I lost money. You know, for me, I was always very business oriented, even in high school. Like I said in the other episode, I went to Pace University to go get my MBA, to go open up my own gym. Realized real quick I'd leave with the degree and a resume I'm not going to use, drowning in debt, trying to open up my own business, and that it wouldn't happen. So I would have gotten stuck in the 9 to 5 rut. So I cut out that middleman right there and said, well, let me start by working at a gym locally. Well, it was local in Manhattan. I was living out there at the time. They had promises of, you'll make over $100,000 a year. I'm like, oh, that's great. But that wasn't nearly the case.
That is everybody's promise. 6 figures, and your eyes just glaze over with joy, and you're like, take me now.
Here's my social. What else do you want? Here's my firstborn. Until they realize that you're walking into an atmosphere where you can only get clients in that specific gym, and there's a gym with 20, 25 trainers. So you're talking to the same members you see every day that have been hounded with, hi, my name is John, I'm a trainer, you're doing this wrong, here's my, let me sell sessions to you. Gets to the point where I remember being in that members spot at the gym, I'm training out in Bevs with you now. That doesn't happen out there. But I remember being at that commercialized gym and going, basically, fuck off. Jesus Christ, leave me alone. I'm trying to work out. Also, I'm twice your size. What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, how often do you have to hit quotas when you work at gyms like that. So you have to have a certain amount of clients. I would assume.
You do.
I've never done training. So how many clients do you usually have to have?
So the minimum, and that was the problem with me working for somebody else, is I very quickly realized that it wasn't right for me. I actually forgot to go over this in the last episode, but the minimums for the gym I was at, it was $2,000 a month PT sales and $500 a month in this supplement line that they sold there.
And how much is one PT session?
PT sessions, they go up to $150.
Okay.
And they had this package for $9.99 that gave you 16 sessions. That was them just trying to hit their monthly quotas with, I can't remember the word. Like a corporate.
Yeah.
So they were just trying to shuttle out sessions there, where the sessions came to like $60 a pop or so.
And you're supposed to hit 2,000?
Yeah, minimums.
It's fucking crazy.
Well, no, but I was working there at 18 years old, and I was the top performing trainer at the flagship location in that gym at 18, 19 years old. So I was selling over 10 grand a month in PT and about $2,000 or $3,000 in that supplement product every single month. And I wasn't even certified at that point as a trainer. It got to the point where they're like, John, you got to get certified. They gave you 2 months to get certified. And I told them, like, guys, look, my schedule is booked. So if you want to pay me for the times that I have to take off to go take some tests, so I'm the perfect trainer to you guys on paper, or do you want me to keep sitting here and making you money? That always stuck with me, because I realized, I basically told them, do you want me to keep making you money? You know, can I keep doing what I'm doing to help give you 40, 50, 60% of it? You know, it was at the point where I was charging $150 an hour working at that gym. I was making $40 because I didn't get all these certifications. But even if I did, I still would have made 70 on 150, which is ludicrous. Eventually they fired me because they thought I was taking my clients outside, but I was actually doing a lot of day trading at the time. I was taking all the money I was making from them, you know, the nonsense money, and putting it into day trading. But before I go into that, what the supplement line they sold there taught me was, it was all garbage supplements, but it's pretty hard to fuck up a multivitamin.
And this is what year now?
This is 2015 now.
Okay, so although the supplement industry is booming and has been booming for years, at least since I've known it, because when I was in high school in 08, 09, I was looking through the magazines and I was looking at the Cell Tech Hardcores and
without a doubt,
and the Anabolic Halo pre-workouts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you know, they did really good marketing back then, but
it was everywhere.
I feel like as the years have gone on, supplements not only have had to get better quality, but there's been a more vast spread of them and lower barrier of entry to create your own supplement
without
brand.
a doubt. And once again, that comes to technology. You know, people can do things they could have done 40, 50, 60 years ago. Excuse me, allergies. We're dying over here to make good content for you people.
Just the way he looked at me when he just like, sorry, allergies. Like just looked me right in the eye. He touched my soul.
That's it.
I'm okay with it though.
You cold soul. But
now, the supplement line, you said it was kind of shitty. The one that they were selling at the gym.
It was garbage. It was garbage.
Is it a popular brand or is it?
No. It was like their store brand, basic version of it.
So the CVS version.
Yeah, pretty much. But they sold it in all the locations, so you know, obviously the overhead was low for it, and they were making a lot of the margins.
Yeah.
So I realized, but it was hard to screw up like a vitamin C multivitamin because the supplements, you know, that go into it are pretty cut and dry. You can't really put some garbage in there. I was selling that to my clients. I would never sell something I didn't believe in. But I was selling so much of it, I realized, well, hold on. If I don't believe in this product in the first place, I can sure as hell sell something I do believe in. So back in 2016, I believe. No, maybe it was 2015 still, maybe. I was, I was 19 going on to 20 years old. I started my own supplement company called Canvas Nutrition.
That's awesome.
Now, the whole concept of the name was supposed to be your body's a blank canvas. If you want to be a power lifter, go ahead. Bodybuilder, go ahead. CrossFitter, go ahead. We have the supplementation that will be right for you to help you get to wherever you're going.
Okay.
Now, it started with me building my own products. It was funny. At this point, I had moved back to Long Island.
Okay.
Because I realized...
So you were out of the city totally.
Moved out of the city. And I realized that if I did this in the city, I'd have a lot more overhead than I needed. And I was living in a studio apartment in Chelsea, Manhattan. Okay. So my rent was ludicrous, but my whole apartment would have been filled with boxes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There would have been no walking around it. And also I'd have to ship from 6 stories up. So I'd bring stuff downstairs, walk.
All the business logistical stuff for the supplement brand in the tiny apartment, running around. And I'm sure it's not like Long Island. You could just load, you can't load your car up with everything.
Well, I didn't even have a car in the city.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You can't just load your car up and just drive to the nearest FedEx and ship everything out. You got to either hump it out there or get a drop ship and have somebody come pick it up.
And then there's another fee.
Yep.
So I came home for a little bit and then I rented out somewhere. And I remember trying to make my own products. And I made some pretty good stuff that I actually gave to a couple buddies of mine, but the liability was so high if somebody got sick. To me, it wasn't worth it.
And now, what were the supplements that you were selling? What kinds? What was the line?
It was basically a smallerbodybuilding.com.
Okay.
Smallerbodybuilding.com. but I had a lot of brand ambassadors. So when I was 20 years old, I had 80 people working for me with the company, and I would reach out to the people that I thought worked well and said like, hey, my name is John, I own this company. I think you would be a really good addition to the team as a brand ambassador, an athlete, whatever they happen to fit the persona of. So
and this is in 15, like you just said.
15, yeah. This
15,
was,
16?
I was still 19.
So
I was still 19.
Instagram was popping already.
Instagram was popping.
So is that how you were doing most of your reaching out or networking?
All of it.
Cool.
It was before maybe 2017 where we started to see every other spam comment be, hey, do you want to be a brand ambassador?
Or I got a big booty. Come check me out. Do you think I have a bigger booty than her? Check out my profile. Like all that bullshit that's fucking spamming everyone's feeds now.
Exactly. It was before the big boot of spam. But you know what? I got a lot of my people working with me as brand ambassadors kind of through spam. You know, I would go on #fitness or #transformation, but I wouldn't spam everybody. I would look at the people who were genuinely in shape or look like they're putting in work, check out the profile.
You would make
and then
informed decisions of who you wanted to network and align with.
Exactly. It's like the education, but I'd reach out to a lot of people. So it was the educational guess of spam, if you will. When I didn't reach out to everybody, it was if you deserved the spot, if I wanted to work with you. But really just seeing, you know, do you fit what I believe this company will be? Now, because I said the liability with everything, what happened was I turned it into like a little bodybuilding.com.
Cool.
Where I had Optimum Nutrition, Cellucor, a lot of these bigger brand companies that are sold in high volume. And it got to the point where I was spending my whole day packing boxes.
I'm sure.
It blew. I had just a basic 3 sale minimum for everybody working with me. And they all met it without a problem.
This is per month? 3 sale minimum?
Yeah. 3 sale minimum per month, not including their own products. And so everybody was selling to at least 3 because all their friends are buying it from them. Mm-hmm. Because why not get the stuff that you were buying at the store anyway cheaper, right? Plus they'll use it in the first place.
So you were buying wholesale and you were selling on the site with a small markup.
Exactly.
But it was still undercutting, technically speaking, all the other chains that had larger overheads.
It was undercutting it because I was willing to take the smaller margins because of the volume I was putting out.
Cool. And
I didn't have to pay $100,000 salaries to all these people.
Yeah, makes sense. Health insurance and shit like that. It was just, a small team that you were assembling specifically through social networking, which is exactly what social networking is for.
It's free advertising. Exactly.
Yeah.
But everybody had a discount code. So everybody's getting the same products a little bit cheaper. So it was no screwing anybody over. Everybody's pretty happy. You know what I mean? It wasn't some special company, nothing magical, glorious. We didn't do anything good for the world. But I helped out 80 to 100 people get a little stuff a little bit cheaper, save a couple bucks. Once I started packing boxes all day, kind of realized that's not what I want to do. Because my whole goal was to go open up my own gym.
Cool.
Excuse me.
Allergies.
Allergies. At Benadryl, we're here. We're accepting sponsorships.
Send the check. Do it. Anyway, you wanted to open up your own gym, and that really wasn't where your heart was lying in the supplement industry, which is totally understandable because I know a lot of people that try to create their own supplement lines and even clothing lines, and they just think it's going to be a cakewalk, and it winds up...
No, it is not.
Yeah, it winds up coming with a lot more consequences if you don't do it correctly right out the gate than it's actually worth. So
yeah,
I commend you for
I appreciate
parting ways. So I assume...
So I was
going to say, what happened to the actual supplement line? So
I was lucky enough to where I was one of the people who actually took off. I got successful with it. And I had to pack boxes all day, where I knew it wasn't a cakewalk, and I put the work in. So I sold the company itself, all my inventory, the company itself, and the team, if they wanted to go over, they're more than welcome, to another company that they started to get off the ground. They weren't huge yet. Legally, I can't say the name.
It's okay.
But they did a great job, and they're still doing well. So I'm happy that they didn't take what I built and run it to the ground. You know what I mean? And
did a lot of the team stay with them?
Yeah, at the time I sold it, I had 83 or 84 something people, and I think there's still 50 or 60 with them.
Cool.
But they're getting a little bit older. They're getting jobs now because there's a lot of younger kids. You know what I mean? 16, 17-year-old kids that were kind of doing it with me.
Easy way to make a quick buck. And
well, more so, they didn't really have a job. So if they wanted to pursue bodybuilding, they needed every buck they had. So if I was able to help them out a little bit, help them make a couple bucks, but also give them a discount on what they needed in the first place, it was kind of a win-win for everyone.
Yeah.
You know? But anyway, after that, I sold my company at 20. Now, between 20 to 21, I got a little bit more into bodybuilding. and did my first real competition out of the Brooklyn show, the NPC show.
That was my first one. What year was your first one?
16 or 17. 17.
My old ass did it in 2013.
Oh, man.
I did the Brooklyn show. That show is no cakewalk. Those dudes are tough at that show.
It's a good show.
Yeah, that's not I thought that was going to be an easy, not that I thought it was going to be an easy show, but I didn't think it was going to be like an Atlantic State or something. That show had some competitors, man.
It was funny. Back when you competed, not every show was a national qualifier. So that was one of the few national qualifiers where there were some big boys heading up there.
Yeah, man. And this is when men's physique was just popping off, and everybody was competing in men's physique. Even guys that were 212 bodybuilders, they just didn't want to show their quads off, and that's what I got to go against. That was a good time.
Yeah, seriously. But you still look great at that show, and you held your own. That's all that matters. That's all those pictures.
I did okay. I did okay. For me, it was great, and now I choose the thick life with 3 C's, tons of pizza and Chipotle. So,
where if you're looking at that spam booty picture, they're clicking on you because your booty looked the best, right?
My booty definitely looked the best. But you were getting into bodybuilding and stuff like that. So talk to me.
That year I was training like a couple clients. I had a lot of online clientele. I always have running through all of this, but I really wasn't working. I was trying to figure out what do I want to do. I started up 1 or 2 little things, like trying to help people build up their social medias.
Okay.
But that's what I was talking about, where that wasn't my true field. So I got burned. I lost money on both of them. And it got to the point where I opened up the pump house coming into 2018.
Yeah, because I shot Amanda's video there. Yeah. It was still relatively new.
Yeah. So I work with my coach who owned an original place called Ironworks there. It was a small, kind of dingy place. It's a small place. There wasn't a lot of equipment. The walls looked like mustard yellow. It was carpeted fully, but so I bought into it and I blew it out and turned it to the pump house, which it's becoming the first place where group athletic training is really happening, like competitive bodybuilders, competitive classic physique, whatever it happens to be. So it's pretty cool what we have going on there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I see a lot of the posts either from you or Paul, even the guys that you guys coach.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of everybody training together, and there's a group of 10 people that just hit back in one night, and I'm just like, that is fucking nuts that you guys have so many people.
But you know what? It's cheering each other on. It's the support system that not a lot of bodybuilders have. Bodybuilding is a very individual sport. You're eating the meals alone. You're training alone usually. Sleeping alone, or at least getting the sleep. All of it's so just you centered. There's no team behind you. So what we built here is kind of a little team. At the end of the day, if both of us are doing bodybuilding 212, good luck. May the best man win, and you have to respect that. But it's a cool way to get us both to that level in the first place.
Different concept. It's almost like a CrossFit, but in the bodybuilding world, because everyone's kind of cheering each other on in CrossFit classes.
Yeah.
And they all want each other to succeed and do well, and that's kind of what you guys are bringing over at your facility, just on the more concentrated, we're hitting back today. We're not hitting a circuit workout.
That's a really good way to describe. I never thought of it that way. It's a really good way to put it. It's just an isolation movement day with a bunch of people doing it once, and that's it. You push each other, a little smack talk, joking around. Like whoa, hold on.
Now I got a question for you. Now, when you guys are all training back, what if the movement is a dumbbell row and you got 10 people that are supposed to hit that? Do you have them hit a different part of the workout, or do you do it in groups of like 3 or 4 and groups, and then everybody kind of rotates, almost like a round robin kind of thing?
So say there's 10 people in a group. I say let's keep it even. Say there's 9, right?
Okay.
We'll have 3 sections of 3 people doing one thing, 3 doing another, 3 doing another. Then they go to the next circuit.
Okay.
Now, obviously, we'll make, if somebody's competing like that week, peak week, whatever it happens to be, we'll alternate it to exactly what that person needs.
Cool.
But for the most part, everybody training back is going to need a dumbbell row, going to need a lat pull down, going to need some rack pulls or some form of deadlift. It's making sure all those mandatory movements get in. Ironically, I train alone. I prefer to train alone, but for me, it's...
Me too.
That's it.
Me too.
But for me, I'm around it all day. That's kind of that's my therapy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if I'm seeing what I do every day helping people train, I got to sit down and focus. And Nick, what are you doing over there?
I was a little too high off my feet were hanging off the edge of the chair. I'm too short for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I needed to come get a little bit grounded.
I got you.
Yeah, man. That's what I've always wondered with that. I've always wondered seeing those posts. It's like, I mean, it looks cool, but how do you facilitate that with so many people?
It's a little rough.
Yeah,
it's a little rough.
The round robin. All right, you guys hit some back rows, and you guys can hit some lat pull downs, and get the fuck out of my way when I come past you, and it's my turn to hit that circuit. You better finish your damn set.
You know what? It's not 10 average size guys either.
Yeah, no, there's some big people.
There's some big dudes in there.
Yeah,
but that's the majority of the pump house. The whole concept is group fitness, real results. Personally, I run regular people sessions, as stupid as that sounds. Regular people just trying to get in shape a couple times a week in the mornings. And a lot of the athletes really just come at night. So it separates the two, not because they're separated, but because if there's a bunch of screaming guys, I don't like to use Planet Fitness as an example, but it is a little rough to watch when you're just trying to get in shape or at the gym for the first time. That's
like the Bevs effect. It's
exactly it.
You know, people get intimidated going to Bevs, thinking about Bevs and stuff like that, and they just they really just want an environment where they don't feel like they're intimidated by people that are competing or in much better shape than them, and they want to kind of almost be in their bubble until they're ready, I guess you can say. So I definitely get that. I felt like that in the beginning, very, very beginning. And then I kind of...
We all have.
I kind of used it as fuel, though. I wanted to be in those environments. Like when I played tournament paintball, I always wanted to play against the better players because that would push me to be better.
Yeah.
Same thing with being around the guys that compete, the top physique, men's physique, you know, classic physique, whatever division they're in, Max Charles for fucking open. Like, it doesn't matter to me. Just seeing these top athletes in their respective divisions and how they look, whether it be off season, on season, it's always pushed me. But I definitely get that mentality of I don't want my clients, or my clients don't want to be around that because
they're just not ready. They're
just not ready to be exposed to that. They want to just kind of do their thing, get in shape, and then maybe at some point they'll be a little bit more acclimated to go, you know what, I'd like to try one of those group workouts with everybody if that's cool.
Yeah, that's it. You know, it reminds me of something Jay Cutler said a while ago where he said when he first started working out, he didn't really jump the gun and just try to do everything. He was sitting around, he's watching people, looking around, going, what are you doing? What are you doing? You have a good back. What are you doing for your back? Let me check it out. You know, so being around these people that may intimidate you is also a positive thing.
That's the best way to learn.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you quick, when I joined Bevs, I had no clue what I was doing. Like most of us, no idea. And I joined the gym, and I was looking around the gym, and I said, Nick, you got to make a friend. You got to make a friend with one of these large...
The big guy in jail.
With one of these large individuals. So number one, no one fucks with you. And number two, you can kind of learn a few things. And who was that first person? Mr. Max Charles.
There you go.
And I saw Max doing an overhead tricep extension, leaning away from the rack with on the cable.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't know what he's doing, but I'm going to ask him. And literally after his set, I went up to him and I said, hey, man, quick question for you. What does that work? And he just looked at me like with the most disgusted look in the entire world. He just goes, it works triceps. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I happen to be hitting arms, so I'm going to try that out. And he just goes, okay. And he walked away, and then I started doing it, and I was doing it wrong. And he walked over, and he goes, keep elbows in. I'm like, oh, wow, this is great. I'm getting coached.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. And when I stopped, I said, hey, man, what's your name? And he just goes, Max. I said, Max, I'm Nick. Fantastic. We're friends now. So if anybody has any problems, I'm with Max. So just know that. just know that. And ever since then, me and Max are like this.
But full disclosure, if you go to Bevs, nobody's going to bully you.
No one's bullying you.
It's a very nice place. And the biggest guys that look the scariest there are the nicest people you're going to meet in that gym.
Yes, they're definitely.
There's no question about it.
Everybody's there for a reason, and it's to better themselves and not really worry about anybody else. You get the drama that you get in any fucking place, but you know what? That's what the regulars, and that's what the people that are all known with each other.
Exactly.
Everyone just wants to do their damn thing and just get in and get out, because I don't want to be staying there longer than I have to be, and I know you don't either.
No, neither one of us can. We have shit to do.
Yeah, we got so much shit to do. You got a gym you own. You got to get back there and start training people.
I got to leave my gym to go work out of the gym to go back to the gym.
You go 50-50 though. You do your cardio in the morning at your gym, and you train a little bit at your gym. You go
back and forth and back and forth.
It's cool though.
Yeah.
But
so what about you, Nick? What about you?
Oh man, where do
we start?
Wow. So like I said earlier, I have always been in sales. I've just always had that natural networking ability, always like everybody. I always like to talk to everybody and just feel like, you know, what sins do you commit? I want to know what you do. I want to know everything about you. What do you do on the weekend?
You befriended Max Charles in 2 sentences. I mean,
that was it. Asking him a dumbass question
as it gets.
about triceps. But I'm very big on people. So
Right.
at an early age, I started working at Best Buys. I was quickly one of the top salespeople. This is when I was like 15 years old.
Okay.
I was quickly one of the top salespeople in the video game and electronic department, and then I moved into home theater systems. And nobody under the age of 19 was ever in Magnolia at the time, which was like the shirt and ties and
Like the upgraded employee version, I
yeah,
guess.
the upgraded
All right.
for the home theater system, because you had the regular home theater associates, and then you had the Magnolia home theater where
Okay.
they dealt with the $100,000 sales and stuff like that.
Right,
so
right.
they didn't want to have people that weren't certified, and they didn't want to have kids in there because it was a bad look.
Right.
Now, at the time, Magnolia was separate from Best Buy. It was almost a separate entity inside the company that they merged with.
Right, right.
So they bought Magnolia from the West Coast, and they started implementing it in a few stores around the country to offer upper tier home theater systems, audio systems, stuff like that. So after being in Magnolia for a couple of years, I got a call from Apple, and Apple wanted to hire me at their retail stores.
It's great.
Which was awesome. This is back when Steve Jobs was still the CEO, and it was a really good time to work at Apple because this is in 2000. Fuck man, what is this? This was in 2010 or 11.
So this is like the iPhone was technically out, but just barely.
Yeah, a couple generations passed. Like when I started working at Apple, I think we just started with the iPhone 4.
So this is like the innovation of smartphones coming out.
Yes, this is
That's
like
crazy.
the forefront of seeing what smartphones are going to do and should be doing.
Yeah.
So working at Apple for 3.5 years, I worked there through college, and I worked in the Manhasset store in the Americana Mall. And then when I went away to Quinnipiac, after I did my 2 years at Nassau,
Right.
I went to Quinnipiac to finish my bachelor's degree, and I was supposed to work at the store up in Connecticut. But unfortunately, they didn't transfer me up to that store. The Connecticut store refused my transfer because I wasn't living there year round, and they wanted, even though they've done that for other people in company history,
The age didn't help.
they didn't want to help me, and I was super pissed about that.
Right.
And it left a really bad taste in my mouth about Apple, which was unfortunate because I really did love my job at the time. And I was unfortunately having to come home every other weekend and work at the Manhasset store from Connecticut. So every other,
man.
especially when you're away at school, man, and you
Yeah, it's rough.
and I was prepping. I was getting ready for my shows. So I'd have to drive home on a Friday night. I would have to get all my groceries, get everything together for the rest of the weekend. Saturday, I'd work all day at Apple.
Still doing your cardio in the morning.
Still do my cardio in the morning.
Yeah. So you woke up after that drive.
Yep. And then I have to work all day at the Apple store. And then Sunday, I'd work all day from like an 11 to 6 o'clock shift. And then 6 o'clock until took me 2 hours to get back to school. I would drive back to school. And then every other weekend, I do the same thing. So that really took a toll on me. And I really, just because the store wouldn't accept my transfer, it really pissed me off, honestly. So my senior year, that was my junior year when I first went away. My senior year, I decided I can't do this anymore. So I quit. And I couldn't do it anymore.
Really?
I quit. And then when I graduated, they reached out to me and they said, if you don't have any work lined up, we could really use you at the stores again.
Right.
So I went back to the store because I didn't have a job yet.
Right.
Graduating from college, as most college grads don't at this time. And I wound up going to the Whitman store, the Walt Whitman store, because I didn't want to go back to Manhasset.
Right.
Because it was just such a pain in the ass, and I didn't like the people, and there was a numerous
You were sick
things.
of it. You were sick of it.
I was sick of it. I wanted a new store. I wanted to try something else, and I wasn't going to work at fucking Roosevelt Field. You could believe that
Nope.
shit. Not at all.
Nope.
So I worked at the Whitman store for about a year, and then I switched careers, and I started doing home automation systems in the Hamptons. So I was the Hamptons rep. So for about 2 years, I did that, and it was interesting. I learned a lot. I learned a lot how to deal with customers and clients and the upper echelon of the one percenters, and got to deal with celebrities, and it's cool, and it seems like it's the best thing in the world when you're thinking about it. But then you have a boss that wants you to hit your quotas, and you're not selling enough, and why aren't you doing this, and why aren't you doing that, and
Why aren't you making me enough money?
Dude, it was fucking crazy. And I couldn't do it anymore because I just realized that working for somebody else and dealing with their company and their problems and everything that they want you to do, I could be doing this on my own and doing my own business. And ironically, The December of 2017, right? December of 2017. Yes.
Okay.
No.
No.
I don't know. January of 2017. January of 2017 is when I purchased my first camera. My dad bought me my camera for Christmas, technically. And that's when I started doing videos. And I got pretty good at it. And I started getting hit up by a lot of the guys at the gym. And one thing led to another. I started buying more gear and learning more stuff and upgrading how I decided to shoot things and edit things and go about it.
Just evolving.
Yeah, it evolved.
In every way.
Dude, it evolved really quickly. So I wound up getting fired from the home automation job in, what was it? It was in, yes, it was in, okay, I'll tell you what it was. It was a week before Christmas they fired me.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was some real scumbag shit. They fired me. They brought me into the office, and I was waiting for it, honestly.
They just didn't want to give you your bonus.
They didn't want to give me shit. They didn't want to give me my Christmas bonus. It wasn't anything anyway, so they could keep it. And I didn't want to go to their fucking Christmas party anyway.
Fuck 'em.
So, they fired me, and it really sucked because I was always the best employee. I was always on time. I was always doing this, but they really threw me into the war without me having enough knowledge. I had to learn architectural design, sound design, product knowledge, reading architectural plans, networking, business B2C and B2B, driving around in the Hamptons and finding job sites to speak to architects on the job site and speak to the builders and how I can get my foot in the door there. After a while, that shit, when you're trying to learn all of that in a small amount of time in a window, and all of a sudden they expect you to sell $1 million a year, it's crazy. So
that's insane.
I was waiting. After, you could tell they were annoyed with me. I was annoyed with them. And the only guy from that company that I really did like, he was one of the managers. His name is Tom. He was actually in line to be the next owner once the owner retires.
All right.
He called me after and he said, "Hey man, I heard that so-and-so fired you and this and that. And I just want to tell you that it was our fault, not you. Like we failed you. And I want to let you know that it was nothing that you did." And I appreciated that. So at least I left on good terms with him because he was cool.
Definitely, without a doubt.
But this led me into my next career because the video wasn't popping yet. I was busy because I was shooting every weekend, but it wasn't at that point where I could quit my job
you can
and
make
rely on that.
100%.
So my buddy Casey, who is definitely going to listen to this, Casey, you the homie, but you know how I felt. I worked for a copier place, a copier sales place. Now, if you know anything about sales, okay, like copier sales is rough.
I can imagine. Because I'm sure people are going in there, don't know a thing, and say, well, what's the difference here?
Dude, it's rough. Like, you're supposed to just get your territory, cold call, like 50 to 100 cold calls a day, plus going out and networking and bringing back 20 to 30 business cards every single day. Like, my territory was Hauppauge, Smithtown, and Islandia. And it just consisted of driving to these territories, trying to find new business. And there are so many copier salespeople, and they're known as like the real scummy salespeople.
Make a buck on you no matter what.
Like, oh my God. So you got in there and the receptionist just looks at you and you're just like, "Hey, just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Nick. I had an appointment." You have to always fake it. I had an appointment in the building. Like, I just fucking drove here. I had an appointment in the building, and I just want to know who really handles the printing. Right when they hear printing needs, we have somebody. Get out. Like, it was the craziest shit to just deal with. And I got to be honest with you, Casey was awesome. My coworkers, most of them I loved. I really did. They were all cool, down to earth. But just after a while of doing that Monday to Friday, cold call, canvas, find new leads. Why don't you have enough leads? And then 20,000 a month quota in copier. Like, you know what? I made some decent money there, but after when you're not selling, you're the fucking enemy, and everybody's looking at you like, why aren't you selling?
That's always the problem with the sales job is eventually there's only so many leads you can get, and the company's been there for years. It's not like you're finding new people. You know what I mean?
That was my thing. My thing was there's only so many people in a radius that need copiers at that moment until they're totally satisfied with having their needs met. So they don't need that shit until maybe their contract's up. So it's always get their contract information, put their contract information in the system, so this way we know when to follow up with them.
Right.
But then you got to remember, everyone's doing that shit.
Of course.
All the other companies that you're going against. So it just, after a while, I just couldn't fucking take it anymore. And I got to be honest with you, it was just, like I said, Casey, my coworkers were fucking awesome. I just could not do it anymore. And I couldn't work for somebody anymore. There was just something in me that I always thought I was going to be the corporate kid. I tell everybody this.
Yeah.
I always thought that I was going to be the guy, 9 to 5, have the family back on Long Island, take the train to the city, work my 9 to 5, come home, dinner's made, like the American dream. And then I realized that, guess what? That shit isn't fucking real. And it's only portrayed in movies. And the American dream is 2 people in your household working for a company that barely pays both of them anything, and you're here struggling trying to make ends meet. I mean, my best friend Chris is a tech at Range Rover, and him and his girl, she already has 2 kids, and he just had a kid with her, and that's my godson. And I just see like the amount that he works and she works, and it's still just not enough because they're working for people. There's a cap on how much they can make. And that really opened my eyes. So I was very fortunate. My buddy Pete is like me in the fitness world for videos. So he except he's in the lacrosse world. So he shoots videos for Lacrosse Unlimited, and he also does a lot of projects with the top athletes in the lacrosse world. Phenomenal guy. He has training at they're called editing houses. So that's like the crazy big production houses that have teams of editors that just edit all the footage that they do campaign wise. So he worked as a big time editor at the time in the city. So now he works at Lacrosse Unlimited in Hop Hog at the corporate. He shoots all their videos. So we actually got a contract to go shoot for Under Armour in Colorado.
It's awesome.
This is thank you. Yeah, this is a year ago, last June. So it'll be a year in 1 month. And I knew that my company wasn't going to allow that because I had already taken a vacation in May. They weren't going to allow me to travel again.
Right.
I wasn't hitting my quota, so I wound up just putting my 2 weeks in, and I said, after this, guys, I'm going to Colorado. When I get back from Colorado, that's it. Like that starts my entrepreneurship with video production, doing my own thing. And I was scared fucking shitless, man, because I've always had that guaranteed paycheck coming in to my 9 to 5.
You know what's funny is I always see it, to me, that's not your start. Your start was when you decided to really start filming people and shooting it, but you weren't making enough to make a living yet. That was where you're saying, you know what, fuck this, fuck the corporate world. I'm going to take a gamble on myself and really go all in. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it or I'm going to break it.
Yeah, man.
And that is the hardest jump to do. I remember when I dropped out of college, it was the same thing. I'm like, holy, am I really going to do this? Am I going to go against the whole norm of society and just go all in? It's a scary feeling. So I get it.
You feel like you have your back up against the wall, and you feel like everything is against you, and you have a lot of good months, bad months, and fortunately for me, very fortunately for me, I have really had no bad months, and it has been a blessing to not only work with the people I've worked with, but just have the support from everybody at the gym and friends and family who really are vested in me doing well. And it's been really awesome. And
it says a lot about your quality that you put out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Listen, I take my time with everything I do, and I put 110 in, and if somebody doesn't like something that I give, that I deliver to them, it's a very low margin where that would happen, and maybe 1 or 2 occasions in the 2 years that I've been filming. And those I want to make sure that I do right on. I'm very big on how can I change this? How can I do this for you that'll make you happy if what I already delivered isn't making you happy?
Right, for whatever reason.
My stuff, people spend a lot of money to have me come out, video, do interviews, do voiceovers, whatever it may be. People spend the money to have me come out. I want to make sure that product that I deliver is the biggest thing. And that's something that I learned in years of customer service, working at retail stores, and years of B2B sales or B2C, business to consumer sales. It's been ingrained in me to make sure that, listen, if people are coming to you, they obviously see the value in using you for a project or for what you're selling. Right. So make sure that end to end is met with happiness and satisfaction on what you're delivering.
Yeah, It's not that the customer's always right, but it's doing the right thing and providing something that they want.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm sure you've had your own instances with
100%.
Especially with the supplement line, with shipping things out to everybody. Not every customer is going to be thrilled with maybe a box came a little bit too banged up, or
you know what? It's funny. It wasn't so much the supplement company; it was more so my personal training. Because there are people who say, "Why didn't I lose 30 pounds yet?" I'm like, "You barely have 30 pounds to lose." They're perceiving themselves as, well, because I'm paying you, now I'm going to get ripped and shredded. Mm-hmm. Well, no, you went out drinking 4 days this week and you've eaten,
it sounds like
Ben and Jerry's every single night.
Whiskey every single night, Ben and Jerry's on tap. Let's go.
And then if you hand me $10, you'll ask tomorrow, John, why am I not ripped yet?
It's bullshit, man.
Well, hold on a second.
I blame you for all of my wrongdoings.
Exactly.
But yeah, man, so it's been a journey. I never thought that I'd pick a camera up and it would take me to a lot of different areas in the U.S., in the world, Hawaii, California, Colorado, Florida multiple times. I mean, Vegas. I've been on planes more than my girlfriend hasn't been on a plane in mad long, or she hasn't traveled in forever.
Okay.
And just last year, I probably traveled more than she ever has in her life, or that most people have. It's wild, man. And
not for nothing, you're getting traveled. You're getting paid to travel.
Yeah, man, I'm getting paid to travel.
Awesome.
Everything's included, so that's great. So the video business, which turned into also taking photos. It's been an amazing journey so far, and as I always say on my posts, and when I first started, I'm just getting warmed up. Like this is just the warm up phase. This is just
the podcast.
That's it, man. This is the second podcast, and already we're crushing this shit. I feel it, the energy between us. I love it.
We're having a good time.
We're having a good ass time, having good conversation, and I just know that everything that we put our heart into, that's really what it's about. Yeah, everything you put your heart into, everything that you enjoy doing. I know you enjoy the personal training. I know you're vested in your clients, their well-being and their results. I know you want the best for them. Same thing, I want the best for the people that I work with.
Yeah, without a doubt. There's a reason you put out such a certain quality of footage. And just for the record too, none of this is scripted at all. My God, would that be a long script? We're walking here, we're talking about, it'll be 3 sentences. Business entrepreneurship today? Yep. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's how we started the episode today. We just looked at each other and
what are we doing today?
And I hit record and then we started. So there's definitely, when you're talking about, I actually shot an interview this morning for a concrete pouring company.
Okay.
So I shot the footage of the job site 2 weeks ago, all the pouring the concrete, layering it out, everything like that, the truck that they use, all the special equipment. And then today I met with the owner and we sat down and we talked about the company. And I told him when he was talking to me about the stuff that he was thinking too much, like when I'd ask him a question, he would think too much and he'd drift off, he'd look around, or
he's looking for the perfect answer.
Something. But then when I asked him a question on something that I can hear, like a question that he's truly passionate about, like what makes you so different from your competition, or what do you feel about the quality you guys put out? All of a sudden he was
vomits out of you,
locked in for 20 minutes straight, and he looked at me and he goes, I don't even remember the question. I said, that's great though, because you're speaking from the heart.
Yeah, you go off on a rant.
But that's what you want. You're speaking up from the heart. You're keeping it real, and that's what, we could edit these podcasts down and chop out little things and this and that, but you know what? It's raw, it's real. That's what, and
There's no reason
to. Exactly. I mean, we're eventually going to be doing live streams, and you can't edit a live video, so it's kind of what you get is what you're seeing and what you're hearing is that's what you're going to get.
Yeah.
So I definitely like the direction of your expertise, your background, my background. I think it meshes very well with one another.
And it's also finding 2 people that can feed off each other a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we're going to have tons of guests, so we're going to all feed off each other. So I think we're doing pretty good. Did you? I know you wanted to touch on hobbies and stuff like that. Did you want to?
A little bit more so. Just if you're not in the office, answer it with one hobby. You're not in the office and girlfriend's busy, everybody's busy. What do you want to do for yourself just to kill some time, have a good time, and let your brain let loose for a little bit?
Let my brain veg out.
Yeah.
It's either Xbox.
Yeah.
Xbox or a movie.
Yeah.
Just put a movie on.
I'm not saying even if it's an unrealistic thing, what would you want to do? Xbox or a movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love staying at home. I love when it's raining out, shitty weather. I love just kicking my feet up, playing some Xbox, talking shit to some kid in the Midwest. I just love that. There's just something about it. I've always been a video game guy. I just love relaxing and playing video games, and all my boys play video games. So like
it's always a good time.
Yeah, they all jump on, and we're coordinating through battleships and fighting people. It's just, I don't know. It's just, there's something about it. What about you?
Oof. You know, it's fun. I'd only done it a couple times. Did you ever go to one of those axe throwing bars?
Yes.
Dude, it's a blast.
Yes. Have you seen the video of the chick that threw the axe and it almost hit her?
Yeah, it bounced.
It bounced back because she threw it back at the cement and it came right back at her?
Yeah.
Yo.
We'll try to, if you haven't seen it, we'll try to find a clip and throw it somewhere on here.
My God. That shit was fucking crazy. That is some freaky stuff.
But I'm surprised it took this long to find the first instance of it.
Oh, I'm sure. You know what? I'm sure it's happened many times. They're just not. They're just not rolling cameras like every 3 seconds. Like, oh my God, take a video of me throwing this axe. So good. Like, and then just fucking almost takes her head off. That shit was crazy. But I did like that. I went to where did you go? You went to Brooklyn?
Yeah, Brooklyn.
What was it? What is that spot called?
Oh fuck.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah, no, I don't remember. There's a lot of them now.
Yeah, there's a ton. I think there's a spot in Farmingdale now too.
Oh man, really?
Yeah.
So we'll do that one day.
Yes, we have to. I love the axe throwing. The axe throwing is mad fun.
Yeah.
And I don't like to go out to Patchogue much, but Patchogue has this spot, Dublin Deck.
Dublin Deck? No.
You've heard of it?
No, I haven't.
Dublin Deck, I think that's what it's called. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I have no internet. There's no internet in here. It's no man's land.
Mm-hmm.
Dublin Deck has volleyball and cornhole outside. So the whole bar is like outside on a deck, and on the side though they have courts, and they have like 4 cornholes set up.
That's crazy.
And you're just sitting there drinking and playing cornhole. That's fun.
That's a good time.
That's a good time.
But if you're ever a guest on the show down on the road, when we have a studio and everything set up, you better believe we're gonna have axe throwing.
We're gonna put axe throwing in the studio.
Absolutely.
I like that.
If we don't agree with what you're saying, you're gonna say it right in front of the target. We're gonna start throwing them.
And you gotta, but everybody seriously though, everyone's gotta sign a waiver.
Yes.
Everyone's gotta sign a waiver. If you get nicked by one of those axes, it ain't our fault.
Nope.
We can't have that liability. But yeah, man, that's kind of it. I think.
That's it for today. Second episode
wrap, man. That's good. I like that. So, once again, you've experienced another episode of
The Voice
and Rizzles.
And we're signing out, baby.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll come back to you. Episode 3. Do we have episode 3 mapped out?
And we'll figure it out.
Much love. Peace.